Peace and bright blessings, guys. It's your Queen of Spades coming at you today. So today we're going to do an overview on the last two episodes of The Crown. So this video might be kind of short, but the last couple of episodes of season 4 until I believe it's November 9th, I think. I think it is November 9th when they'll be showing season 5 and beyond, I think. So, but anyways, the last two episodes are basically about Princess Diana and Prince Charles, and it shows like the different elements of their relationship. And it gave me a peek into their ways of thinking and what went wrong in their relationship. So, starting off the bat, what I saw from the last couple of episodes was that Diana actually really loved Charles, and then especially after they had their two sons, there was a point where they were getting along really well. And then at some point, Charles started to feel jealous and insecure because Diana was getting more of the spotlight than him. And he felt like she was like purposefully trying to take the attention from him, which that wasn't that wasn't what she was trying to do. At some point they went out to this opera, I believe it was, and the people were putting on a show, and Diana said, "I'll be right back. I have to go to the restroom." So he was like, "All right." So she leaves from beside him, and he's watching the show and he's laughing at it, and he's looking back like, "Where is she?" And then a few minutes later, here comes Diana onto the stage. She's on the stage, and there's the segment where her and this character in the play or the opera show, whatever it was called, they started doing like this segment dance together. And at the end of it, she's like, wishing Charles a happy birthday. And she's blowing him kisses. And Charles is like, smiling. He's got this fake smile on, but he feels like, dang, like, why does she have to go on stage and be center of attention? So this was like her giving him, like, a birthday surprise, but it ended with everybody like loving her, like falling out over her, like, just happy that she was present, and doing this, on stage. And Charles is the only one like, oh my God, I cannot believe this. So at some point, they're like arguing and fighting because he feels like she's trying to steal the limelight from him. And she's like, this was for your birthday, like, I don't understand. And he's like, um this was supposed to be my time to shine, this, that, and the other. And he's on the phone with Camille, talking to Camille about her and stuff like that, Camilla. And she's just like trying to encourage him to stay in his marriage because she knows what she feels is for the better. Meanwhile, they still see each other. At some point, Diana starts seeing people on the side too because Charles is like never home, and she's just like left alone with the kids all the time. And so at certain points when she got to get out and she got to be to herself, then she started seeing people on the side as well. So at some point, um Charles's mother, Queen Elizabeth, started asking his sister Anne, like, how things were going. She heard that things were going good with Charles and Diana. And oh, my nose is itching. And so his sister Anne is like, I mean, for the most part, ooh, everything is great if you want to include the fact that Diana upstaged, Charles this weekend and, took his shine and this, how he feels about things like that. And it's supposed to be his time to shine. So that didn't sit well. Also, she's like, Diana has, many different lovers. And um, she's like, and she's not really discreet about it. Meanwhile, Charles is with you know who, and he is being very discreet about his affairs. Then she says, well, actually, I take that back. Everyone in the world probably knows about Charles and Camilla, and the fact that they're together on the side, and the fact that they host lots of house parties and stuff together with each other. So I can't even say that he's being discreet either. So Queen Elizabeth looked disgusted, like this is crazy, like that I'm hearing this. And so she decides to call Charles and Diana in, to her home. And she's like, what's going on? Y'all both got lovers on the side. Y'all are quarreling. Like, what's going on? So Diana was like, first of all, I want to apologize because, and this was right after the avalanche accident where Charles was skiing with some friends, in the mountains, and it was snowing, and like there was an avalanche, and I think two people died, but Charles was okay. Um, but anyways, so Diana was like, it was after that moment that happened, where Charles was, that I felt like, we should give this another chance, because what if something had happened to him per se, and it was, a more permanent thing, that couldn't be helped. So, so Odin's right there. Hold on. Hold on, guys. Okay, I'm back, guys. So, where was I? Diana's like, after what happened, when Charles went out to be with his friends, in the avalanche accident. After that happened, like all of a sudden, I couldn't imagine, like, you know, him not being here. And so I definitely want to give this marriage a chance. So Charles, he was prepared to say he wants to be with the love of his life, Camilla. But his mother heard Diana and was like, okay, so it's settled then. So Charles is like, wait, don't you want to hear what I have to say? And Queen Elizabeth's like, no, what more is there to say? Your wife said she wants to, y'all to be faithful to one another and work on this marriage. So he was pissed off. He told his guards and men, like, if she cheats even one more time, you immediately let me know, and I'm going to let my mother know, and this marriage is over, and I get to be free to be with who I really want to be with. At some point, him and Diana have this argument, and, um, well, before that point, him and Diana actually started to get close. And it was, I guess it was when she wasn't really out in the public, because everybody just loved her and was drawn to her. Like, she couldn't help that. And so they started, like, getting more in touch with each other, being more intimate. And, Camilla was calling and he wasn't accepting her calls. I was like, oh, okay. Um, yeah. So then at some point, something else happened where he felt like she was outshining him again, and that was his last straw with her. He felt some type of way. But she wasn't purposefully doing this. Like, people just naturally loved her. Um, at that point that he became fed up with Diana, he started calling Camilla again, talking to Camilla about Diana. And Camilla was like, basically like, listen, you got to stay in this despite what we want. You got to stay in this marriage. He's like, I'm going to find a way out of this. I want to be with you, you know. So at some point, and he would, I saw like the moments in the episodes where he'd be like, your mental health isn't all that well. Like, he was making it like Diana was mentally off and crazy. And she's like, you know, I've never been told that I was like mentally unwell before, but because Charles always says it and because he tells his family this, they all make me feel like I'm crazy. And, it's starting to make me believe that I might be crazy just based off of, like, that was gaslighting and narcissistic abuse that he was handing her. And his family worked, whether they knew it or not, worked as the flying monkeys to assist him in continually abusing her and making her think that she was off in her thinking and unaware. Um, it just was crazy what she suffered through. And remember, she's like younger than him, so she's not, like some prude. She's this young, youthful, vivacious, girl, full of life and full of energy. And he just, he didn't know what to do with her. And his head was in the clouds because he really wanted Camilla to be his wife. So it was just really crazy. At some point, after the talk with his mother, he purposefully stayed gone from the house. He stayed gone from having contact with her. Whenever she would call him, he wouldn't answer. And he had his guards working for him. They'd be like, "We'll tell him, he's in a meeting right now. He's handling an emergency right now. We'll tell him as soon as we see him." She would just hang up. Like, she would be, trying to fill her schedule with other things, and she was going crazy. Like, why isn't this man not only not answering my calls, but not calling me back? Which was crazy of him to do. Like, how do you say you love someone and never available? Like, that type of behavior will get you released. So, so yeah, he stayed gone and he did not answer any of her calls. At some point, Diana decided to, whereas she had told her guards and other people securing her, um, she was like, don't let this person's calls through. I'm trying to work on things with my husband, and it would be inappropriate for this person to call me. So don't let his calls through. So the guy is calling her from, different places and trying to reach out to her, and she's not available. She's not answering. Well, once Charles, for a long course of time, started doing that to her, it's like, how long can you go without human touch, human communication, um, showing of love, showing of affection? How long can you go? So at some point, she decided to start seeing that guy again. And showed them sneak into, a lower level area of the house that they stayed in, Diana and Charles, whenever he was home. And the guards immediately called Charles. We saw Princess Diana going, into the home with Sir such and such, whatever his name was. So Charles was like, okay. He just knew he had it all together, honey. He had went to Queen Elizabeth and he was like, so there's proof that Diana did not honor her word. She's still cheating. She's still seeing this person. And I have proof, and my guards have alerted me to this. And now what? She sat here. She told you that she wanted to fix things with me. And yet she's still cheating. So now what? And Queen Elizabeth was like, well, what I want you to do, in other words, I'm paraphrasing, stop being a crybaby ass and get back in that marriage and make it work because you not going nowhere and Diane ain't going nowhere either. She cheating, you been cheating with Camilla, remember? Like you didn't think that people talk about that? You don't think that people know about that and what you're doing? You know, man up and be the king that you're meant to be, in other words. He was like on fire. He was pissed off because he just knew that the queen would be like, okay, well, if you want a divorce, go ahead. But he was in the wrong too, you know, and Diana only started seeing people on the side because he wasn't giving her the attention that she was deserving of. And yet he has all of this attention and time for Camilla. So who can blame her? So it was just crazy. At some point, like Diana still to the very end, like was trying to fix the marriage and, you know, fully be present for the marriage. But she realized at some point she couldn't fix and heal the marriage by herself if the other person is, you know, gun ho on pulling away and, you know, putting his feelings and energy somewhere else, you know. It was just a mess. And so it would show them going to like, you know, sports games with the children. And she's like cheering them on, like, oh, boys, oh, mommy's so proud of you. And he's standing there with this stink face on, you know, looking at her out the corner of his eye. And, you know, like, I do not want to be here at all. I'd rather be with Camilla. And it just was very unfair how he treated Diana because most of his mistreatment was misplaced anger and frustration because he wanted to be with Camilla full time, but he's in this marriage to Diana and he can't break away. He can't divorce her. He can't just leave her. The only thing he can do is see his mistress on the side from time to time. And he hated that everyone loved Diana so much that she got all this attention that it outshined him. Like people saw him and was like, "Where's Diana?" Like, you know, so he couldn't stand that and he grew like disdain for her. Like, how you gonna hate somebody because like they naturally have a colorful personality and attractive powers to attract, you know, people to them. How do you hate somebody for a natural thing like that? So that was his thinking. And it kind of, like, the last argument they had, um, Diana came to either see him or pick up the children. I can't remember. But he had just talked with Camilla, and this was like one of those prominent scenes that stuck out to me. He had just talked with Camilla, and Camilla was like, you know, we have to stop living in the clouds and we have to accept the fact that I'm just your mistress. And he was like, don't say that. What's gotten into you? Like, she was like, the sooner we start accepting the reality of things, the better it will be. You can't leave Diana. I can't leave my marriage. So, you know, let's just accept the fact that I'm your mistress. And he's like, you're the love of my life. You know, so she's like, you know, we should just, you know, keep things as they are. They're not going to be more than what they are. And he's like, you know, if I had it my way, you'd be my wife, this, that, and the other. He really didn't have control over that aspect, but It was like he made Diana so miserable just based off of the fact that he wanted to be with someone else, and it wasn't fair to her, but it wasn't fair to him either. But he didn't have to like make her life hell because he wanted to be with someone else. They could have just agreed to do things between the two of them if they really wanted to do things in a way where there would be like no arguments and disagreements over things because they're all on one accord. But in a lot of situations, communication is key, and he wasn't communicating with her. In fact, he avoided her like the plague. And she wanted to communicate with him, but she couldn't get through to him. So at some point, he and Diana are talking, and he's like, you hurt Camilla. You hurt her, because she was starting to talk like, I'm just your mistress. Let's just keep it at that. So he decided to take this to Diana, like as if she was to blame for this, and she not doing nothing except being herself, being a mom, and living life. And he's like, you hurt Camilla. And she's like, why would I care or give a damn about her? And he's like, because I care. I give a damn about her. I'm like, and at that point, things would have just ended. Like, things would have ended before that. But yeah, it was clearly no way that she could fix this situation by herself. And it was very clear that he didn't want any parts of it. And he wasn't trying to help her to fix it either. He liked staying angry at her. And he really just wanted her removed from his life so that he can bring Camilla in. And, his family wasn't trying to hear that. They wasn't in agreement with that, so it just continued to make matters worse for um him and Diana. So yeah, that's where we left off. They haven't exactly divorced yet in The Crown. But they talked about it and hinted about it. And yeah, so we'll see what happens in season 5, episode 1. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed that overview. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you've seen it, give me your input, give me your 2 cents on it. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Peace and bright blessings.